everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to do some more box office reporting for the latest movies that came out within the weekend, covering Friday the 4th of July to Sunday the 6th of July 2023. So we'll get straight into it then once more, and we have to start again with the Barbie movie, which stayed on top of the US charts for a third straight weekend, grossing around $53 million. Overall in the US, the movie has now grossed over $459 million, and it's not sitting too far behind Super Mario Bros. Total of $547 million in terms of the top movie within the US in 2023. And on this channel, we've really fully explored the reasons for Barbie's impact and success, and this third weekend just confirms its overall dominance as it continues to grow from strength to strength. The most significant part of this weekend is of course the fact that the movie finally crossed the threshold of $1 billion worldwide, overall becoming the second highest grossing movie of 2023 behind Super Mario Bros. So after all of the talk regarding the success of the film, I suppose the only real question left is, can it overtake Super Mario Bros. To become the #1 movie of this year? It's going to have to go some still. It's got around 350 million to 400 million to take in order to assume the #1 position. I'm probably going to say it's definitely going to come close, as there isn't really that much in terms of significant competition for the next couple of weeks. I suppose the only debate that's left over is regarding the film itself and its subject matter. Now, many people who have seen the movie have already done multiple commentary regarding the film's social commentary and subtext, and so often within pop culture and entertainment we've had the running narrative around going woke, going broke, which of course means that any film that tries to instill any type of social agenda or identity politics or diversity or racism within an IP that it was really warranted ends up failing at the box office. If we go everything from the Ghostbusters movie in 2016 to the elements that we saw within Disney Star Wars, certain parts of the MCU of course had this issue as well. So has Barbie proved this argument otherwise, that it doesn't matter if you instill certain identity politics within an IP adaptation, as long as you market it right and you appeal to a general audience, then you can have all of the wokeness that you want and still be overall successful? Well, at this stage, I'm still going to say that Barbie is somewhat of an anomaly. As I mentioned before, the wokeness that was supposedly within the movie wasn't really within the trailers itself. So from a general audience perspective, the Barbie movie seemed very fun and light-hearted and not too demanding. And it was only really once people saw the movie, perhaps later on, that there was a bit more criticism regarding the supposed wokeness. But I think at this stage it's too late. I think the movie has hit such a cultural impact, particularly driven by social media, that any complaints about it being woke haven't really done anything to damage the overall success of the movie. And whilst I've stated multiple times on this channel that there are many films that have lots of woke elements but are still great movies overall, Barbie is simply a case of a well-known IP that was marketed brilliantly, particularly within social media, and it managed to connect within general audiences so far. So going woke and going broke may still apply, but again it depends on how you reach general audience in terms of how you market your overall adaptation. We then talk about the #2 position, which was taken by the sequel The Meg 2, The Trench, which grossed around $30 million this weekend. This is of course the sequel from 2018, which was somewhat of a surprise hit, and they were hoping to capitalise on the popularity of that first outing. Now overall I would say that $30 million isn't too bad given the overall success of Barbenheimer. Maybe Warner Brothers were hoping for a bit more, but I don't think The Meg is one of those movies that really was talked about a lot post its overall release. The film itself was decent, I suppose, in a kind of outlandish entertainment. Nothing too memorable overall, but it did manage to gross over $530.2 million at the box office. Will we see similar returns for the sequel? I'm not sure yet. It's had a decent start, grossing around $142 million worldwide so far. So hopefully it can garner some good legs within its second and third weekends as we go into the middle of August, if it has any chance of grossing close to the overall first film. We'll then talk about Oppenheimer, which dropped down to #3 after retaining #2 spot for the last couple of weekends. Within the US cinemas, it grossed around $28 million, and its overall taking that territory now stands at a mighty $228 million. Worldwide now, the movie now stands at around $552 million, so it's looking a safe bet to gross at least close to the likes of Interstellar in terms of Nolan's previous efforts. I still don't think it's going to catch Inception's take of around 742 million, but Warner Brothers or Christopher Nolan won't be too concerned about that overall. With previous videos, I've stated that the film really has surpassed expectations in terms of its subject matter and its overall length. It was once more the biggest beneficiary of the supposed Barbenheimer event. And I suppose the only real question is, will we see it gain major awards recognition, if the awards still happen, of course, when it comes to that overall season? But it's still overall a massive success for Oppenheimer as it continues still to show good legs within the box office. We then go on to the second new entry on the list at number 4, and that is the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles adaptation, Mutant Mayhem, coming in at number 4 with a gross around $27 million. Now, it did open earlier on within the US territories and has so far grossed around $40 million so far. Now, so far, the CGI animated film has grossed around $51 million worldwide, which isn't too bad given its overall budget, which stands around $75 million. Now, of course, this is nothing outstanding, and we've had so many adaptations of the Turtles brand over the last couple of years. Everything from several other animated movies, and of course we had the 2 big budgeted Michael Bay adaptations as well. And Turtles is one of those brands that I think will always see adaptations every couple of years. Despite the hardcore fan base looking for a much more hard-edged adaptation, it's always going to be geared towards the younger demographics. And it certainly is a concept and a story that will always appeal to the younger audiences. Now, I very much doubt that we will get anywhere near close to matching the true greatness of the first film from 1990, and I even had a soft spot for the second movie, The Secret of the Ooze, in 1991 as well. That Turtles is really just something that is just churned out there to garner any bit of profitable grosses that it can do. So once more, I don't think this will be too groundbreaking. It certainly won't get anywhere near the great Turtles that we saw with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. But overall, this is a decent take for the film so far. We then quickly talk about Haunted Mansion, which had a massive 63% drop in only its second weekend of release, grossing only 8 million, grossing around 9 million at the box office for a total of around 42 million within the US. And sadly, again, this looks like another big budgeted flop for Disney once more, and it can add it to its lists of underperformers within 2023. The Sound of Freedom continues to hang in there, dropping down to number 6, grossing around 7 million this weekend for a massive total of around 163 million within the US cinemas. We then have to remark once more about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, which dropped down to number 7 this weekend, grossing around 6.5 million for an overall take about 151 million within the US. Internationally, the film is just inches away now from 500 million. Now, despite showing good legs, I think we do have to really start contemplating now whether this film is certainly a financial underperformer, if not a flop. Again, I don't like using that terminology, especially with Mission Impossible, because I do think the movie was very good. It just really suffered from a bad release schedule. And again, I use that very lightly because nobody could have expected the huge impact of both Barbie and Oppenheimer. But because of that huge budget of around 290 million, we do have to judge it on the same criteria as what we have with the likes of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, The Little Mermaid and Fast X and The Flash, and also Indiana Jones and The Dial of Destiny. So from that standard, we do have to say that sadly, Mission Impossible hasn't been the big success that many people were touting it to be. Many people, like myself, were predicting that it could have been only the second film to gross $1 billion at the box office, but obviously that position has been taken now by Barbie. So again, just a lot of things to think about for Tom Cruise, Christopher McQuarrie and Paramount for when they go ahead for releasing part 2, which will come out next year. So there's my overall thoughts and feelings on the recent movies that come out within this box office weekend from Friday the 4th to Sunday the 6th of July 2023. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any other topics or movies or television series that you'd like to see me cover, then also let me know within the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves and I will see you very, very soon.